Today in Draw My Life, the lost episode of Lazy Town. It was an autumn afternoon and Luis, one of our subscribers, was left to take care of his little brother because his mom was working on a late night shift at the hospital. Without thinking much, Luis put on his brother's favorite show, Lazy Town, not knowing that what they would see would change their lives forever. If you want to see all of our missing episodes, subscribe and hit that little bell button. Miguel attentively watched the program on TV while Luis played and texted with his phone on the couch. This time, Miguel didn't do any whining or fighting as he used to do every time his mother left him alone with his brother. Luis knew that if Miguel complained to mom when she came back, she wouldn't let him go to the movies the next day. So tonight, he would be the best babysitter in the world. Miguel hummed the songs and danced to the music. Luis began to feel a little bit hungry, so he got up to go to the kitchen. While looking for something to eat, he heard a scream. When he looked out to see what was happening, it was Miguel, who was crying uncontrollably as the TV signal was dead. Shh, shh, what is it? What is it, Miguelito? Don't cry. I'll fix it now. It's all right. Luis tapped on the TV, but nothing happened. He knew that if Miguel kept crying, he would blame him when his mother arrived, and it would mean saying goodbye to his only chance to go out for the weekend. However, no matter what he did, the signal wouldn't come back. So Luis desperately searched on his computer for an episode of Lazy Town to entertain Miguel. He put it on, and Miguel contentedly stopped crying. Luis had nothing to do, so he sat down next to his brother and started watching the episode with him. The episode started with its usual intro, so nothing alarmed them at first. But the town was completely abandoned. Where were Stephanie, Trixie, Stingy, Siggy, Pixel, and Sportacus? How strange, said Miguel when he saw that no child appeared, but he didn't pay much attention. In the distance, they heard some noises, although they couldn't be distinguished. Suddenly, silence, and then a loud scream. The scream went black. Only the whimpering of a child could be heard. It seemed to be Stingy. Please, Sportacus, don't do it, please! A burst of ghoulish laughter shouted at the poor child. It's too late, Stingy. If you had hidden better, none of this would have been happening to you, said Sportacus. At that moment, a scream and the crunch of bones were heard. Luis was shocked. What on earth had he played for his brother? Then the color of the screen came back. Sportacus left Stingy on the ground full of blood after breaking his limbs. He then dragged him away and stuffed him into a black bag which he buried in a hole he dug. Silly boy. Now to get to the rest, he said in a low voice. Sportacus headed towards the town where Stephanie lived. The city was still empty. Not even the great Robbie Rotten was there. Once he arrived at the house, he broke down the door and began to desperately search for Stephanie in every corner of the house. In front of a door, he found the mayor, who was protecting her at all costs. You will not take her away, Sportacus. You will not do to her what you've done to the other children. What is all this about? Luis wondered. The mayor began to struggle to protect the door from Sportacus. But then, Sportacus grabbed the mayor by the shoulders and pulled him strong enough, throwing him down the hall. With one punch, knocked him unconscious. Here I come, he said as he opened the door. In the corner stood Stephanie, clenching her knees, crying loudly. Please don't! Sportacus, I beg you! Sportacus approached the girl and said in her ear, You should have hidden better, Stephanie. You know the rules of hiding and seek very well. Yes, but this is not what we agreed. I would help you find the others, and you would spare my life. Stephanie replied, True, but things changed a little. How could I miss this chance to hear your bones crunch? The superhero took her by the hair and dragged her to the kitchen, where he took a frying pan and started to beat her relentlessly until he disfigured her face. He then stuffed her into a garbage bag and dragged her out into the driveway. Okay, you guys better hide well. Here I come. Luis abruptly turned off the computer and looked at Miguel. The little boy was as pale as a sheet of paper. He had been stunned by what he had just seen. Startled, Luis grabbed Miguel by the hand and took him to his room. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Miguel looked at Luis with an uncertain look on his face, and Luis said, Don't be scared. It's probably Mom. Maybe she forgot her keys. Come on, let's go greet her. Both brothers approached the door, and with a drop of sweat running down their foreheads, they opened it.
Got him!
After, a scream and a bone crunching was heard. It was Sportacus who had found them. "Why don't children ever listen?" he said. He turned around and headed next door, where some kids were also watching the missing episode of Lazy Town. If you're watching this drama live, we recommend you not to open the door. And if you hear a doorbell ringing, let us know in the comments if you knew about this lost episode of Lazy Town. And before you go, remember to like this video and subscribe. See you next time.